Hello, YouTubers and ASLers. Today we're going to talk about Multiman Publishing's ASL Pocket Bundle, composed of Pocket Rulebook, the new Pocket Chapter H, and equally as new, Pocket Charts. I wouldn't consider them pocket size because they're still book format, but they are much smaller than the 3-ring binder version of the ASL Rulebook that we're all familiar with. You can get these three as a bundle for $95 from Multiman Publishing. You might be able to find them a little cheaper elsewhere, but $95 from Multiman Publishing, or you can buy them individually for, I think, 50 $50, $40, and $20. And if my math is correct, that's $110 if you buy them individually. So if you buy them as a bundle, you save 15 bucks. Now I'm going to go through each one of these individually, starting with the newest first, which is the charts. Then I'll go through chapter H real quick, and then the pocket edition. And then at the end, I'll give a few thoughts on the advantages of having this versus the 3-ring binder versus the electronic ASL rulebook and that sort of thing. So let's jump right into the charts and take a look at that. Okay, here is the new ASL Pocket Charts. It's comprised of, I think, 48 total pages of charts from front to back, 24 sheets, so 48 pages. And it essentially has all the charts that are included in the chapter dividers and various sections of the 3-ring binder version of the ASL rulebook. Let me thumb through it real quickly. It appears to be organized by chapters in the ASL rulebook. So starting with A, going all the way through chapter W, which is North Korea. I wish they would have organized it a little differently. They do have the infantry fire table right up front. Concealment table up front is fine. I wish they would have put the infantry fire table on the inside cover or on the first page. But I really wish they would have organized this in the order that charts are actually used. So infantry fire table, like this chart, no one's ever gonna look at this chart. Original 12 die roll summary, original 2 die roll summary. Most people have that memorized. They're not going to refer to this. They should have put 2 hit tables, two kill tables right up front here because they're used the most. That's my only real major complaint. They should have organized this differently other than just the order that the chapters are in the rule book. I also wish they would have organized the terrain chart alphabetically instead of by chapter B section, because when I go to the charts to look up a terrain, I look at it alphabetically. I don't necessarily have all these sections of chapter B memorized to know where buildings are. Oh, they have it under wood building and stone building. Okay. Shows you how often I look at the actual chart from the ASL rulebook. But I wish they would have organized this alphabetically. And then I wish maybe they would have put building, comma wooden, building, comma stone. Anyway, not a big deal, just a thing that I would have personally changed. Now, I understand they probably don't want to go and recreate all these charts. These are literally the charts taken from existing inserts from the rulebook, and they're just transferred into this new format. Here's all the chapter C stuff, 2 hit, 2 kill type tables. Then we get into D. So you can see E next, Knight. Incremental infantry fire table thrown in just for the heck of it. We start getting into some PTO, national capabilities, OBA flowchart, takes up a good 4 pages, 3 pages. Overrun flowchart takes up a good 2 pages. Desert, chapter F, PTO, PTO terrain. Korean nationality chart, Korean terrain. Now this is nice. Advanced sequence of play being included in this, I think it was a great addition. That takes up a good 4 pages. And then we have some repeats in the back here, some smaller versions, more summarized. This is all of basically Chapter C: to kill, to hit, etc. And the last page here is basically a summary of some more infantry things. And the back is more infantry, smaller versions of that as well. I also wish that the paper isn't, it's in between cardstock and a regular sheet of book paper, I would call it. I wish it was a little thicker. But in general, it's nice. There's just a few things I would have changed here. Organization, the order in which it's organized, and maybe a little thicker paper, and then train charts alphabetized by the type of train, not where they're listed in Chapter B. Not that big of a deal. Now, for comparison, let me put up the rat chart just to give you a size comparison. I'm sure most everybody that's an active ASL player has the rat charts, so you can get a comparison. Theirs is on much thicker paper. Their regular sheets. It's much thicker than these. Now, the advantage to the multi-mount publishing version is they're much easier to read as well, obviously, because they're bigger charts. And I know a lot of us who've been playing a long time, we have aging eyes, so that's not a bad thing. And the other good thing is this is $20, if I'm recalling right from just a minute ago. This is, depending on which version you get, it might run you $30 to $40 for the rat charts. So cheaper, you get more, easier to read, a little bit bigger, more expensive, more compact. It's a trade-off. I'll leave it up to you to decide. So that's the Multi-Man Publishing new pocket charts. Let's take a look at the new Chapter H, which I'm really excited about. Chapter H, indispensable, especially for players who play scenarios with a lot of ordnance and or vehicles. I said this in other videos. Do not ignore Chapter H. Do not ignore this book. It has critical information for vehicles that you're using. And again, as I've said before, if you don't read it, your opponent is probably going to read it. And if you don't know what your vehicles and or ordnance is capable of, and he knows it, he's going to take advantage of that. So take the time to read the paragraph for each vehicle. You might learn something that the vehicle can do or can't do that will help you in a scenario. So this includes every nationality, all up to date at this point, for all the combatants in World War II that are in the Advanced Squad Leader system. All the graphics are up to date. All the information's up to date. I don't know how many pages this runs. Probably 250 pages. Oh, 226. I was close. So yeah, this is a great addition, having the Chapter H. I hate dragging out my 3-ring binder just to look up a vehicle, or I can use the PDF version of the EASL rulebook, but it'll be nice to have this, sitting on my desk so I can just pop it open real quick to look something up. I recommend picking this up. Great addition to the system. And then lastly, we just have the updated Pocket Edition. This is actually a little bit different than the previous edition, or at least my previous edition. Before I jump in, I highly recommend doing the spiral binding. Just take it to your local office supply store or UPS store, whatever you have in your area. Have them lop off the end and spiral bind it. Easy to use. Flip it back on itself. Lays flat. Indispensable. I highly recommend doing this. It probably costs $10. I will be doing it for the new version of the Pocket Rulebook and the new version of Chapter H, which I just showed. Okay, back to the rulebook here. It is updated. It is a reflection of the EASL rulebook, which has all errata included in it. The EASL rulebook is always up to date, and when you purchase it, I think it's $60. you get lifetime updates. So whenever they change a rule, update a rule, fix a rule, you get a new PDF version for free. But as soon as they do that, this will be slightly out of print. It's probably not going to matter. There's so many rules. A change of a word here and there isn't going to really change how you play the game. But this reflects the most latest up-to-date version. In addition, they added chapters J, which is deluxe, which I'm not sure a lot of people play anymore, or if ever played. I've only played a couple scenarios of deluxe back in the day, and that's only one sheet. It's not a lot to it. Actually, it's one page. The rest of it is credits, it looks like, that they put on the back. And then they've added chapter K to the new Pocket Rulebook, which is basically a long, verbose, example of play type of thing. And with YouTube existing, there's obviously my channel and many other channels and players who have many other examples of play that are easy to follow, that don't involve you having to pull out boards and units and move them around and try to follow text. So this is really nice. I'm going to be honest, I have never read chapter K. It's too much. It's too slow. I can look at videos and whatnot to do that. So, but they've added it for those of you who want to go through it. And then they've also added chapter W to the new pocket, the Korean War edition for Forgotten War. They've also added that. Okay. The other thing I noticed is the paper is printed out in this version versus my previous version. I don't know. You might not be able to. You probably won't be able to see on camera here. This is matte, and it feels more like, I don't know how to describe it. It's more like a paperback type quality of paper. It has a slight gloss to it, and it's thicker. This paper feels much higher quality. It feels much nicer, and it's probably going to survive a lot longer in use in this rule book versus this rule book. Of course, you can see I don't really take good care of mine. I don't care. I just write in it and highlight and do whatever to it. So it's not that important to me. But people who worry about the longevity of their rule books, this is an upgrade in paper quality, which is really nice. Okay, that's it for just a brief run through of the Pocket Bundle. Next, I'm just going to talk briefly about all three. Let me put all three out here real quickly. Kind of just a few thoughts on this. Got the chapter H and the new charts. And this is probably aimed more at new players or players just coming to the system and wondering what this is all about. So this is all you need to learn ASL. Okay. There are three versions of what you see here. There's this version, the pocket version, in print. There's the big three ring binder version, which I don't have. It's upstairs. It's huge. And honestly, I never use it anymore. It's just too cumbersome, too big, too bulky, too heavy, all the above. And then there's the electronic version of the PDF, which includes all of this. The charts are kind of sprinkled through or at the very end of that PDF, but it includes all of this information. And combined, it's a little over 700 pages of information. Now, my three-ring binder version of this is spread across, there's so many pages, I think it's spread across 3 binders at this point, between the rules, the chapter H, and obviously the charts are sprinkled all through there too in various dividers. This costs $95. The EASL Rulebook costs $60. Most people have both of those. And then a lot of people probably have the 3-ring binder, and I would hazard to guess they barely use it anymore. And I think that might cost $100 when it's in print. That might cost $100 to $120. I don't remember. I bought mine a long time ago. I don't recall what it is. It's currently out of print, at least on Multiman Publishing's website. That being said, with all of these up to date, the availability of the charts independently of the three-ring binder rulebook, and the availability of the EASL rulebook, I would not be surprised, and I'm guessing that Multiman Publishing may do away with the three-ring binder of the rulebook. It just seems unnecessary at this point that they have these versions, which are probably print on demand, I'm guessing. Whoever they're printing this with, they can probably just send the updated files. When these run out of stock, they just send the updated files and say print 1,000 of each or whatever, and they can get them back in stock fairly quickly. The charts, they can probably do the same thing. I don't see any use for the three-ring binder. I think it's going to go the way of the dodo, honestly. And that will help them in production in that anytime they reprint a module or maybe add a module, I don't think they ever will, they won't have to reprint the rule section that gets inserted into the three-ring binder for chapter H. They won't have to worry about printing that. You can just get a new chapter H here, and it's all up to date as well. I don't see them really updating it much either at this point. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think the three-ring binder is going to go the way of the dodo, but I could be wrong as well. I'll never buy another three-ring binder, and I'll never use the one I have. I have these. I have my old version that doesn't have errata, but it's still 99.999999% playable, even without the errata, because most of us don't remember all the rules anyway. Even the errata that gets stuck in here, we wouldn't remember if it's right or wrong anyway. There's so many rules, and we're always looking them up anyway. Now, the EASL rulebook is also a way to go. If you play a Vassal a lot, that's the way to go. I use the EASL rulebook when I'm actually playing online with somebody. That's what I look things up with, because it's fully searchable, it's fully hyperlinked, it's fairly inexpensive, 60 bucks if I recall, from Wargaming Vault, versus 95 for this versus 100 and whatever it was for the three-ring binder. So that's also a way to go. So I do the EASL rulebook for Vassal. I do the chapter H when I'm just sitting around in my office, sitting in my chair, reading rules or researching rules instead of sitting at my computer. So I recommend picking up a set of these. 95 bucks, pretty good deal for the 700 pages of rules, all the charts for this hugely complex and deep system to play everything. And then after that, all you need is a module, like Beyond Valor, to get started. Or you have the rules and you have an opponent who has the scenarios, and you can play on Vassal. You need something to get the rules into play. You need scenarios, you need a module, or you need or Vassal to get going. But this is all you need to learn the system. There's nothing else you need. Pocket H rulebook, ordnance and vehicle notes, and all the combat charts. Beyond this, it's all Chrome for historical purposes. If there's a historical module that you have that adds extra rules, and those rules will be included in those modules. Speaking of which, I propose that they do a chapter historical, I don't know, pocket historical maybe, because I don't think they're going to reprint a lot or even any of the old historical modules. They may put them out in PDF on Wargaming Vault, Conf Group Piper 1 and 2, Pegasus Bridge, that sort of thing. They may never reprint those, so why not gather all that stuff up, put them in a pocket historical. All the maps are available on Vassal. Make some money off of that and let people play those historical modules on Vassal by providing all the historical rules for those modules in a pocket format. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'd love to see that. That'd be great. I think that's it for the ASL Pocket Bundle and a quick summary of the differences between Pocket three-ring binder and the EASL rulebook. I recommend picking these up. I love the paper quality. Wish there were a few things a little bit different in the charts, but I think it's a great addition. And that's it for this scouting report. I'll see you next time when I'm going to unbox. This has been in the works for a while. Operation Martlet. This got voted to be unboxed next, even though it took like 3 weeks to be shipped to me. Here it is. We'll do Operation Martlet next, and I'll see you then.